All right, let's go ahead and look at the syllabus. Okay, so if you haven't had a chance to look at the syllabus, this is it. It's pretty standard stuff, but I want to point out a few things. The best way to get hold of me is by email. So deaneber@calpoly.edu. And to tell you a little bit about me is I went to Poly back in the dark ages. I graduated in '93, and I graduated which was called the Metallurgical and Materials Engineering Department at the time. And I went on to get my doctorate in material science and engineering. And so I'm a practicing metallurgist. I have a consulting business that takes some of my time. And normally I try to interject some of the stuff I do into class as appropriate. But, and so I'm a little bit of an odd duck in ME because I don't have the classic ME background, but materials and ME, there's a lot of crossover in that, especially as you get out into your career. You'll notice that the original degree that you had, you kind of deviate a little bit from as you get your work experience. Anyway, so that's me. I've been at Poly since '99, working on and off. I took a few years off in the middle there to focus on working in industry, but I've been in the ME department for the last 6 years. So my office hours 10 to 12 on Monday, 1 to 3 on Tuesday, and 10 to 11 on Thursday. So if for some reason those times don't work, then shoot me an email, we'll work something out. I want to make sure that you guys are able to get the help you need. It's very important. This class, I think compared to some of the other classes you have, it's probably, I don't know, medium. I mean, I guess the longer I teach it, the easier the material is for me, which what it would be for anyone. You get exposure to it. I would say this class is easier than dynamics, and this is kind of the prelude to dynamics if you have to take it. So I think that the emphasis I try to put in this class is to develop the good habits that you'll need to succeed in dynamics. And one of those is going to be what's called the free body diagram, which I'm sure you guys did or have done in physics. And I'm going to emphasize that a lot, and because it's really important that you master that. Okay, so the textbook. So there is the textbook itself it's recommended, and I recommend it because there's material in it now that that you can go over and read. And there's I've heard mixed reviews, as some people don't use the textbook, some people do. So I don't make it required, and I use the older version. The 12th edition is the current one, and that's the one that's pretty pricey if you buy it at the bookstore. So I use the 11th edition that's been around since 2015 because there's really no difference. And that one you can be had for fairly inexpensive, fairly cheap. So I'll leave it to you to decide if you want to purchase the book or not. The homework that I assign is standalone, meaning it has the problems in it. I don't refer to the book. I don't say do problem 6.14. So if you don't have the book, you could still do the homework. All right. So, and then in terms of grading, we have the different categories. And so I've broken this down. Homework is 16%, which means there's 8 assignments. So each assignment is 2% of your grade. And then the quizzes, there's 8 quizzes. So each quiz is 3% of your grade. And so I'd recommend don't blow off the homework, because I've seen people like drop grades just because they didn't do the homework. And plus the homework is a very valuable part of understanding the material. This is a problem solving class. So unless you're the only way to really master it is to work the problems. And I know that some of the problems out there, the solutions can be had, and there might be the temptation to just copy the solutions. I highly recommend you don't do that. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to go through the homework with a fine tooth comb. I just look at it to see that you made a reasonable effort, and I check it off. But when you get to the quizzes in the midterm, that's where it'll show if you don't really know the material. Okay, so So homework I mentioned, it's posted, the due date's posted. The first assignment will be due next Monday, so a week from today. And then it'll be due subsequent Mondays. And then after the midterm, which is the 5th week, it'll switch to being due on Wednesdays. So you have 8 assignments over the course of the quarter. There's a 9th assignment at the very end, but I won't collect it. Now, quizzes, they'll be every Wednesday and I give you a window to do the quizzes in. So typically the quiz will be the window will be from 8 to 10 in the morning. So at some point in that window, I want you to take the quiz, and I'll show you an example quiz in a second. Actually, let me just do that. Actually, let's wait. I'll show it to you. And then we have one midterm, that's the 5th week. And I'll show you the outline, which I've already in. Again, everything I'm showing you here is obviously downloaded on Canvas. And then we have the final. So the final is Monday of finals week. It's already been, it's a common final. So you should write it in your planner already that Monday of finals week from 7 to 10 p.m. That's the time when we will have part of the final. What we have done the last 2 quarters, which has worked well, is we have a asynchronous part of the final, which you can take any time on Monday. And that's a multiple choice true false type test. And that's worth about a quarter of the final. And then the second part is a problem solving. And then that's done from about 7 to about 8:30. So we say 7 to 10, but it's usually we break it up. So anyway, we can talk more about the final as we get to it. That's getting too far ahead. Now, in terms of grading, typically the average of the class, it's been a little higher. It's been about 2.3, 2.4 the last couple of quarters, mainly because I've been going a little easier on you guys because of the COVID. So what I would say is just don't focus. I mean, I know you probably heard this before, but try not to focus so much on the grade, but focus more on the learning. So if you focus on the learning, the grade will come. And then the rest is just kind of general information. But what I would say is, in a nutshell, don't cheat. And if you need extra help, please ask. Don't be bashful. All right. So here's the course outline. Now these are the lectures as listed in the module. So lecture 1, this is what we're doing today. The lecture 1 that's actually online talks about chapter 1, significant figures. I don't go over the syllabus again in that one, but that was fairly short. It talks of just the rules of sig figs and what you'll expect in this quarter. And then from there on, it's just the subsequent parts of the book. And so the reading, the material comes straight out of the book in terms of the slides and the figures and a lot of the problems. I do have other sources that I pull problems from, but this is the order in which we'll cover the class. And I think the important thing is that the first week is pretty much review. So I don't think you'll encounter anything through 2.3C that you haven't already seen in some way, shape, or form. And so don't be lulled into a sense of complacency, because it does start out easy and then it gets a little more difficult. Then if you notice the key term here, or I'm sorry, the thing to notice right here on lecture 14, that's our exam. That's on February 3rd. Wait, why does it say February? Oh, I apologize. How did I end up doing that? This is the winter one. I'm so sorry. Here, let me grab something. I don't know how I ended up with that. That's pretty stupid. Here we go. Sorry about that. Here's the one. This is what's posted. This is correct. So here we are, midterm. That's on the 28th of April. And so it's essentially the same. It just has different dates, obviously. And then we just have the one holiday down on 5/31. That's it. But otherwise, that's the schedule. That's the date of the midterm. Write it down. That's the day we'll take it. So the way the midterm will work is it'll be just like this. You'll log in at 8:10. We'll start the test. Everyone will be live. We'll take it. That way, if you have questions, I'm here to answer them. And then you'll turn it in at the end of the hour. Any questions so far? All right, good. So this is a quiz. This is just after I do the quiz, I'll always post a solution, and the solutions to the past quizzes should be up so you can look at them. I've also posted the solutions for past midterms, but this is so. For example, the first quiz that we had last quarter was just taking these two weights, E 500 pounds, and finding out what F weighs, given that this thing's in equilibrium at these angles. So again, drawing a clean free body diagram of each component, then solving allows you to then subsequently solve for the unknown. And so again, this is to give you an example. The quizzes aren't meant to be super difficult. They're more of an assessment tool for me to see how people are doing and if they're understanding the material. So I don't throw you curveballs on the quizzes. I give you something that's kind of middle of the road. So you should do pretty good on them. But but I will say the midterm is a little more challenging. So again, don't assume that everything's going to be really easy. All right. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. So let's and then I just wanted to show you the layout of if you haven't gone to Canvas. So on the first page syllabus, this shows you the two course outline syllabus that I showed you can download. Anytime you need, obviously you found it, you're here, so we don't need to see that, but that's where the Zoom room is. In terms of modules, these are the different modules. Now, this is mine, so this looks a little different than what you're seeing because it's not all hidden. So for example, on mine, this is from last quarter. I have the final exam still up there. But you could probably see this course information, and it has my office hours, has the overview, homework overview, and then in here, assignment, quiz, exam solutions. This is where I will post subsequent solutions. So once you turn homework 1, I'll put the solutions here and so forth. Quiz solutions, I'll put those in here and so forth. I'll also have past quiz solutions. I just haven't posted them. And then here, these are all the exams. So last quarter's midterm, 2020's midterm, in 2020, in fall, I did a two-parter, but I'm not going to do that. So I would say that the best format for the midterm would be to look at the winter. But I've also included exams from the past, just so you can see the types of problems that I give, because I know they're out there. And so I figure everyone should have access to it. And so we can take a look at those when we get closer to it. And I think that will help you understand, the level of question I'm going to ask and the difficulty. And I'm not trying to trick you. It's not, the exam's not meant to be sneaky. I just want to make sure that you understand the material and that you're ready to move on to dynamics or to CE204, which are typically the classes that people take subsequent to this. All right, so, and if we go into quizzes, these are all the quizzes. Again, I can see them. You probably won't see them, but you'll see your screen probably just says quiz 1. And then this is what it'll say. Typically, when you open up the quiz, it'll give you some information here. And I'll just point out, whenever you turn stuff into me, this helps me a great deal, is if you could put this naming convention on it, where you say ME211, and then it would either be homework 1, quiz 1, whatever the assignment is, and then your first initial, last name, underscore S21 for spring 21. It just helps me keep track of it, because I have a lot of students, and I try to put everything in folders and make it so nothing gets lost. So if you can do that for me, it makes me less grumpy. All right. And let's see. So you can, and I have the points on Canvas are weighted correctly. So so for example, as I mentioned, your homework assignment is worth, each one is 2% of your grade, or 20 points. So there's 1,000 points total in the class. So as you go through the quarter, if you go to the grades here, so you won't see everyone, you'll just see yourself, but it'll show you, everything you've done over here. And so all the different assignments will be listed. And over here, you'll have your percentages at the far right. And so you'll be able to keep track of where you are in the class. So I post everything on Canvas, except the final, obviously, because by the time we do that, it's the end of the quarter. But this does help you kind of get a sense of where you are. Okay. Trying to think if there's anything else. So going over assignments, quizzes, announcements. I think that's more or less what the class is about. I think that most of the stuff felt self-explanatory. Usually I don't get many questions the first week, because the material is pretty much review. But if you haven't gone over it before, or if something is not clear, by all means, please reach out in office hours. I know I have an office hour today, my 10:30. I have a phone call I'll be on. So if you come to my office hour between 10:30 and 11, you may not see me. I figured it was safe, though. I usually don't get people at office hours the first day of class, but otherwise I should always be available. On occasion, I do need to reschedule office hours, and I'll send out an announcement. So everything I send to the class is through the announcements page. And I believe you get that via email. So I'm not sure the format, because I've never gotten an announcement myself, but I will try to put everything up there, anything coming up. And if I need to change my office hours, I'll put it up there, and when I'll make it up and whatnot. So any questions with anything? I know it's early. You probably guys just rolled out of bed. You're still half awake. Still wondering what day it is, but all right. Well, I do appreciate you guys coming here in the morning, and I will again be in office hours as normal. And if you have questions, come see me. Otherwise, I will see everybody here. Our first quiz is not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday. So it's in 10 days, and then of course our first homework assignment is due in a week. But otherwise, I'll see you here next Monday at 8, and we'll talk about the material we covered the first week, and a little bit of the material we'll cover in the second week. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Look forward to the quarter. We'll see you soon. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.